Hey guys, and welcome to Searching for Ghosts on YouTube. This is the revisited series, The Disappearance of Cayce Lynn McDaniel. This episode here, this is one I was not going to do a revisited on, but I got to thinking about it, and it is probably the most important one to do an episode on. And that's the Happy Birthday Cayce episode. Um, Wish I could have timed this out where it could have come out on her birthday, but this was from 2017, and this was family and friends, simple bonus episode where they told stories about Cayce, wished her happy birthday, pleaded their case for people to come forward with information. Um, and the reason I'm doing a revisited on it is because, look, I don't even like calling this a true crime podcast anymore, but it's a way to get people to listen and watch. It's become so callous, I think. And I don't know, man. It's just it's a double-edged sword because the very thing that fascinates us as human beings with crime is part of the reason I started doing this. I have that same fascination. I'm not above it, right? But it there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. And to each his own, man. I'm a libertarian, whatever you want to do, right? If you want to get drunk on your podcast and laugh about murders, that's your business. I'm not gonna listen to it. I think it's lowest common denominator stuff. Personally, I think it's trash actually. But it's your business, right? I would never call out anybody by name on here. But in general, it's trash. We forget about the victims. You know, Cayce was a real person, a school age girl, about to start high school. And listening to this Happy Birthday Cayce, it helps put that into focus because of all the talk of Mark Burns and Pete Hill and Cindy and this and that. Cayce kind of gets lost in the shuffle again, you know? And it's hard for somebody who, never knew her. So it's really good to, and one thing I always liked that I always thought it wasn't lost on me when I started this podcast was facts on the ground can change. Obviously, Pete gets arrested, right? Gets charged. And so there'll be updates. But the content is evergreen, meaning she'll always have a voice. As long as there's a platform for this stuff, to be honest, why I went to YouTube. Doing my part just to make it a little more difficult to forget these people, these girls, in my situation so far, women, Nancy. Um, it's a lot easier to hide from an audio podcast. Um, if you might be one of the people in the podcast that the evidence is pointing to, it's a little easier to hide from it when it's just audio. Even now, it's still, there's just too many ways to find podcasts, which you could say is, well, that means they're everywhere. So how is it easier to hide behind it? Well, but YouTube is like a behemoth, right? So YouTube, Bethany Markowski on YouTube, it's hard to hide from that. And that was one thing that I was glad to put the podcast out, because, and that's another reason for me to like really stress over trying to make it as good as I can and not be salacious and just tabloid, because I mean, I could always pull the stuff down, but it's out there, man. You know, um, I did that thing for the anniversary, and I ripped that clip that Mylan Mirror did that had Amber Hansen in it. And for the longest, man, she was the voice. She was the only voice. You know. Anyway, I don't want to get too much on a soapbox, but I thought this was important. I'm just going to air the whole thing of all the loved ones, saying it'll bring a tear to your eye. It's these aren't just names on a page that we're talking about. These are real people with real hopes and dreams and aspirations and feelings. And I don't know. We run the risk of, in trying to help and get the word out, we become numb to it too. That we're actually talking about a real. Season 1 is Cayce McDaniel. But Cayce McDaniel was a person. You know what I mean? Bethany Markowski is a person. Nancy Blankenship was a person. And anyway, guys, I'm gonna cut it here. This is just a reminder, of maybe of why we're doing this. It's not about clicks. It's not about only, other than it brings awareness and it keeps these girls from being forgotten, and hopefully justice will be served. But it's to give them a voice. Anyway, guys, check it out. The next one is episode 11, I think. These bonus ones are messing me up, but yeah, episode 11 will be next. So subscribe, and just gonna go let this thing play out. Thanks a lot.
I was about 5 or 6 years younger than Cayce. One of my favorite memories that I have of her is that she treated me like I was her baby. She would always try to tote me around on her hip and show me off to everybody and try to take care of me, but she was always wanting to hold me like I was her baby. My mother has got a home video of her at my first birthday party, and I'm sitting there in my high chair and everybody's singing happy birthday to me, and Cayce's over to my left, and while everybody's singing happy birthday, there's Cayce right next to me with her finger in the side of the cake, just slowly wiping her finger through the cake and putting it up to her mouth and licking the icing. She did it about 4 or 5 times, and you can hear all the adults in the background giggling because they saw her, but she didn't think anybody could see her, and she's just steadily just licking her finger and going back for more, and that's something that I will always cherish, and I miss her dearly.
Hey, this is Casey's cousin, Josh. Cayce, just want to let you know that we love you and we miss you very much. Happy birthday.
My name is Lindsay McDaniel, and I am Cayce's youngest cousin on her father's side. I was, I think, maybe 9 when my parents came home and sat my sister and I down and told us that Cayce was missing. I didn't really understand what that meant at the time. I remember that Cayce loved coming to our grandma's house, and we loved her being there, playing outside, eating cupcakes. One year for Christmas, my grandmother made my sister, Cayce, and I these 3 beautiful dolls. They had beautiful dresses and jewelry, and I remember being really jealous because I liked Cayce's a lot more than mine, and Cayce was nice enough to let me play with it. Cayce's disappearance has been one of the biggest heartaches and tragedies our families had to endure. It's like having a big hole in your heart or your lungs. Makes it hard to breathe. Makes life a lot more difficult, a lot less fun. For Cayce's birthday and for my grandma's that's coming up, I pray for closure. People know it happened, or at least someone does. And someday, no matter what, they're going to have to answer to God. Cayce, we love you so much, and we miss you. I look forward to seeing you again someday. Happy birthday.
I hate to say this, but I only have a few memories of Cayce left because it's been such a long time. But there's one that's always stood out to me. On Friday nights, our parents would take us to the skating place in Milan. Cayce and Jesse would always be there. You know, we'd have a blast every time. One night in particular, they had the snowball dance. If you're not familiar with what that is, they'll play a slow song, kind of dim the lights, and everybody lines up along the walls. You wait for a pretty girl to skate by, or your girlfriend to grab your hand and skate the song out. So I'm sitting there, a little chubby kid with thick glasses, you know, having no shot in the world. And it was about halfway through the song, and you know, I've got my head down, feelings are hurt, you know, on the verge of tears, and Cayce was skating with someone at the time, and anyway, so she ends up kind of letting the guy go, and he sits on the wall, and I'm thinking, what is she doing? And she skates right over to me and puts her hands out. You know, off we skated. That's one thing that about Cayce has always stood out is, you know, she always cared for you, and she would do things like that, you know, that just stood out. And, you know, her being at that age where, you know, it's so easy to be judged and what is Cayce doing, you know, she's skating with that little kid, you know, it's so easy to be made fun of, but Cayce could have cared less, you know, she just wanted to, you know, bring me up, make me happy, and just make my night. And, you know, my whole life, ever since that night, that stuck with me. And anyway, she would have been 35 years old today, and someone, you know, stripped her of the life she could have had. She would have had kids by now, and it breaks my heart to think, you know, of what could have been, and someone took all that away from her. But you better bet I'll never give up on her. Cayce, we're going to keep fighting for you. I just want to tell you that we love you. Happy birthday, Cayce.
In memory of Cayce, I was there when you was born. I watched you grow up. You've always been such an angel. Everybody loved taking you places with them. You're just such a sweet little angel. And I know someday I'm going to see you in heaven. I might not find out on this earth what happened to you, but I will see you in heaven, darling. And just remember, we love you. And whether it was an accident or whatever, I pray before I die, I get to find out what happened to you. And I hope Gigi gets to find out the rest of your family. And I love you, darling. You're just a precious angel, and you always will be. Love you. We miss you so much. Bye.
I remember taking you on vacation with us when you were about 8 or 9 years old. We went to the beach, and you just loved playing in the ocean. You loved being in the pool, and God, Justin and Lucas were just, you know, so happy that you were there. It makes me smile to think that, you know, I brought some happiness to your life. And God, Cayce, I wish you were here with us today. You'd be 35 years old. I mean, you'd be married and probably have kids. And God, I know your kids would be beautiful. I mean, no doubt. Look at you. Cayce, I pray every day that we find out what happened to you, and that whoever did this will eventually be found out, and that you'll get the justice you deserve. Just know that your family's fighting for you, your family, your friends, you know, the guy that's made this podcast, police officers, investigators on your case. God, I just wish you were here. Happy birthday in heaven, Cayce. I love you.
So when I got this message from Lucas, of course I was happy to oblige. I've got countless memories of Cayce and I, and just to refresh, beginning in, looks like September, but there may be some in August too, I started writing letters to Cayce like we always did. letters back and forth to each other, and I would bet there's 50 plus letters from 1996 all the way up to 1999 of different things that were happening in our lives, and I was trying to keep her posted as to what was going on in our social circles. And I've run across a lot of things that I had forgotten about that happened through investigations and different rumors and things, but I don't think any of them ever panned out. But anyway, I just thought I would read one of these letters. This one was written to Cayce from me on September 1st, 1996. And again, these are just letters I wrote as if she were here with me. But I said, Cayce, hey friend, how are you? Not good, huh? Well, join the club. I'm so worried about you. I wish you would just walk in or call or something. I hate not knowing anything. I just hope you're reading this. I think I would just go crazy if I were to lose you. It's been hard enough these last 2 weeks. I know wherever you are, no matter what is happening, God's taking care of you though. I've prayed these last 2 weeks more than I think I have my entire life. And I know that's terrible to say, but God is all I have to turn to now. Cayce, I love you to death. We're best friends. Hell, we're practically sisters. We've always been there for each other. To tell the truth, I can't even remember the last big argument we had. I know we've been through a lot together, and yeah, I know we're not perfect. You've done some stuff that a lot of people would not ever have expected of you. But who's to say that you have to live up to everybody's expectations? Be yourself. Make your own decisions. And you know, I've always told you what I thought about your actions, my opinion only. But like I say, it's your life. And I mean, I hate when people try to tell me how to live my life. So you just do what you want to do. And you've done the same for me. My point is we've never gotten to the point of saying, stop it now or I'm gone. Although I've gotten pretty damn close. Because I didn't want to be around to see you get hurt. But the more I thought about it, I figured we could work it out and get past it. Our friendship was more important. Now, once we start to get back on track, this shit happens. This stuff is really big, Cayce. I've never seen anything like it. I've been questioned, interviewed, talked to by the police, the FBI, the missing children's places, and about 1 million more. Your face is in almost every public establishment in West Tennessee. All we need now is for you to come home. All of your family and friends and the church is so upset, and we're doing everything humanly possible to find out what happened to you. We're just putting faith in God because He works in mysterious ways. Always remember we're BFF, friends forever. Please come home. I love you. And that's just one of many letters that I wrote to her. With the full intentions of giving her this box of letters when she came home, never dreaming that it would be 21 years and I'm still in possession of these letters and she's never gotten to read them. I've spent many birthdays without her, but if I could see her now, of course I would hug her neck and I would just try to make her birthday a happy one. But in reality, it's been so long, it's hard to keep that thought that opportunity will come for us. Now it's just a hope for justice for her, and that we can have closure for her and closure for her family, and that on her birthday and on special times when she crosses my mind, I have a place to lay flowers and just mourn my friend. This has been incredibly hard for me as her best friend, to go through all the things in my life that have happened thus far, that I have no doubt that she would have been right beside me. I mean, we were 14 when this happened. So high school had barely gotten started. She doesn't know what it's like to cheer on our football team for the state championship games that our class just led, and that was a really big deal for our class. And, Mylan is covered up with school spirit, and I have no doubt she would have been right in the middle, in the thick of all of that. School dances, riding the strip, going to prom, college and kids and marriage and everything that comes in between, that was all taken from her, and it's not fair. Somebody knows something, and it's just been too long. It's been hard on all of her family. It's been hard on all of her friends. And, it's at the point where she's almost at like an urban legend. It's something that somebody has heard about because, there are teenagers now that weren't even born when this happened, but they hear about it, and they hear about this girl from Milan, and, she's a person. She had a life. She was fun. She made everybody laugh. She just had an infectious smile, and no one deserves whatever happened to them, but especially her. She had a very bright future. So I would just plead to all of the listeners of the podcast, to anybody that knows somebody who may know something, no information is too small. There's no details that are too small. If there's something that you think that might be helpful to bringing closure to her case, please come forward.